We haven't started the lava lamp yet.
There's a lava lamp somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
there's a lava lamp. Come on, are you from the 70s? What is wrong with you?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, both your TV and your lava lamp is from the 70s.
Then I have an Oculus Rift between the two.
Do you? Where's that?
That's what the black box is.
It's on the bed. It looks like a cat basket, but it's really long.
Yeah.
I've got a VR cat in real life.
Yeah. Mr. Pickles is not real at all. It's just a pure...
No, he's a figment of what aliens think humans are.
Yeah.
It's Matt's bedroom. Oh, gosh.
So, in a quick summary, Cyrus, character played by Captain Kangaroo, his lover, his favorite person out of the Order of the Phoenix, has escaped with the important book. And lots of people are after this book, and Cyrus has led his fearless band of people, i.e. Bartleby and Hazra, on a crusade to rediscover the book and to hopefully bring Melanie and her strange black-robed friend to justice, which probably result in high glory and fame from Cyrus, and he might even move up one step in the order. The party have been on a boat, a sailing boat, bound for a small village, a hamlet called Windvine. They have had several really interesting adventures on this, and as one of the things that they have encountered, they've encountered sea serpents, they've been attacked by pregnant women, and they have discovered new people. And they currently have in their room a young lady and her son. Her son is called Stanley, and the woman is called... Can anybody remember?
I specifically didn't ask her name.
Primrose.
Primrose. I thought it was Primrose. So I'm glad you're agreeing with me. Thank you. Because that was a made up at the moment. So yeah, and they were fast asleep last night when keen-eyed and eared Hazra was awoken by some strange occurrence, whether or not it be a noise in the night or just hearing something, the rattle of a chain or the rustle of a rope. And he saw something climbing up the side of the ship. He came out to investigate and found that coming over the side of the ship was a sea goblin. He quickly launched into attack. Bartleby cast a protection spell.
Nope, that was Cyrus gave us the damage 7 protection.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That's why I put the green token on.
Thank
so we
you.
all remember.
So everybody has that, do we? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You neglected one person who's made out of armor, I think. But I could be wrong.
I think he gave it to everybody this time.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
The woman and the child, but still.
Yeah.
Let's everybody watch Hazra try to put a 7 in the little green.
I know, I killed myself.
Yeah. Come on, you need to put a 7 in.
Dead.
We're not going ahead until there's actually a 7 in that.
I remember there was a small argument by Hazra just said, "Why do I even bother wearing anything?
I know.
If you could just do this all the time." I think he just...
Hover over the green dot and press 7, the key 7.
What did I just put 7? No.
And come back next week when we'll find out.
Fine, where the 7 is on the keyboard.
And push 7.
Hover over, press 7 on the keyboard. I'm going to do it. No, you're in the wrong green circle. Go down underneath your token, and there's the circle next to the cog. There's a white circle. Press that.
Right. So yeah, and then push 7 when I'm hovering over it.
And then there you go. Yeah,
Hooray!
we are there at
I'll get rid of the 77 in the big one then.
yeah. I actually use that for combat actions. That's what I actually use for my actions to remind me. Okay, let's pop Ulrich out and put him over there. Yes, so we are oh yes, Hazra launched into combat, I think, spear at the ready at the sea goblin that was on the opposite side. If that was correct, wasn't it?
I did indeed, yes.
Yep. And
With a shout
as
and
you
a
did
scream.
that, and the party sort of like made their way, another sea goblin dropped down in front of the door and is here. Okay. And that's where we left it. So the first thing that we need to do is actually roll for some initiative,
Help.
please.
Initiative.
Don't forget to click on your character
damn it.
before you click your initiative.
Hazard goes before me.
Hazra before you. I'm just making.
Yeah, mine's 11.
Yeah, I'm a 9.
Okay.
And also I'm Bartleby, so
Oh,
Yeah, sure you're.
Cyrus, what's your initiative?
It's 10.
You go before me.
That's right.
Let me just let me just I need my normally all this would be prepared, but unfortunately, oh, I know what they're under. I think they're under sea devils. They're not actually sea devils. They are
Oh, okay.
aquatic.
Demons. Aquatic demons, not sea devils.
They are aquatic. Sea. They are actually sea.
And that's
goblins.
different from river imps, right?
river goblins, I mean.
Oh yes, completely different. They're
And different from mountain goblins. And don't get me started on forest goblins.
yeah.
Those are the ones that chop off your tongue.
They
because
are
you said a bad word.
really nasty things.
And
Okay,
of course,
then.
there's cloud goblins.
So, I'm going first. Look. Yeah.
What?
Why is that still coming?
fair what?
That. Oh, I know. I need to change it on the actual character sheet. I think. There it is.
Oh, the sea goblins are different than Ulrich. That's why.
Yeah. I just have to leave it now. Oh, I need to change me to GM because I hate it when it's just my ugly mutt coming up. Yeah, so these nimble goblins are actually going to go first by the looks of things with their 19. We'll go from the point that everybody has weapons out and ready to attack. If you remember, they have tridents. That's what they're actually using at the moment. So be prepared for that. And right, here we go.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Since Bartleby, his only weapon is a club or a little, like, apple knife, would it be possible that he could have pulled out a lantern or grabbed a lantern instead?
That sounds a good idea.
Inventory
Yeah.
normally. Okay.
That is a good idea. Okay, then. So, Hazra, just out of interest, I can't remember whether or not you shouted anything as you attacked or not.
I did. I saw the one climbing to the roof, and I saw the one climbing over the deck, and then I saw the one climbing over the deck, and everybody was fully. We didn't have a chance to put armor on, but when we were shielded up, I charged across, screaming to gain their attention and hopefully to awaken people on the boat.
Okay, then. So just as you go across shouting, you notice several things as you come out of the doorway to your cabin. As you go across, you notice that there are other sea goblins climbing up the side of the ship, up on the poop decks, up above on the things above you. and they're sort of like climbing up. And you also notice that there's several sailors coming out to actually battle. What this means is that there are actually more sea goblins than what you can see. And as the battle continues, it might be that it becomes very, very tight on board ship. And when that actually happens, as the sea goblins try to overwhelm the crew and yourselves, it might be at that point then your your combat skills or anything like that will increase by 1 difficulty, just unless you take any sort of like reasonable actions for that. So you can see how Hazra, you're out to your peripheral vision. You can see these sea goblins. Some of them are already on board up above, to your left and to your right, and some are just climbing up. And as you fly across, you can even see that there's some coming over here.
So,
And you can, if you wish, if as a free action at any time from now on, do a perception check to see what else you can see going on. But you're heading towards this goblin, and this goblin is sorry.
I'm really confident because I've got this burning glow around me. It's not the same as Amriel, but it feels good.
It feels good, and I think you got your posing pouch on, which makes you feel very.
Posing pouch.
But it's very chilly. Can I just?
You see my butt as well, yes.
Yeah, So there's somebody trying to stick toast in it or something like that.
or a bicycle.
Yeah. Just like trying to. So as you come up to this sea goblin is going to take a swing at you. What's your weapon skill?
Is 100 and... Oh, come on, brain. 109? Yeah,
Okay,
109.
so 109. So I need to take -9 off my skill as I fight you, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. Let's just take that off.
It's a critical hit.
That'll go down to 94. Oh, the sea goblin swipes and misses you. I haven't got my luck out yet, but I will be working on that.
You've got a stack of luck from last week.
I do. I know. I have 5.
Sea goblins.
That's why you're taller in your seat.
80.
Yeah. The sea goblin in front of you, Cyrus, comes in, moves in, and is going to try to jab you with its spear. This is number 2. You're number 1. So you will not have that that minus on you. So this is just going to take a swing at you. This will hit you. So it's up to you what you would like to do. You can use a combat action. You can either parry with your glaive. It'll be your glaive that's out. Or you can try to evade, and in which case you dive out the way and you will be prone.
Well, I can try acrobatics as well.
Oh, yes. So that's your evasion. That's just the same evasion.
Trying to think. Well, I'm gonna go for a parry.
Cool.
Yeah. Bummer. Yeah.
So you do manage to parry the blow. How big's your weapon? And please, I just need to know how big your glaive is.
I put it down as large.
But
so
it's medium, isn't it?
Is it medium?
Mm.
Okay. I need to change
We all say that.
Yeah. We've all put it down as
it's
large.
It's really cold tonight, and
Yeah. So that
honestly, I wasn't expecting you to come in, and it was fine.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shock, and not everything's
You startled me.
it's
Right. They're my 5 best excuses. But
all gone in one fell swoop. Okay, medium, medium. Yeah, so because you're both medium, you managed to parry all the attack. So you sort of like this trident comes charging through the door, and you manage to whip the base of your glaive round and sort of like knock the incoming three-pronged attack away from you. And that's me all done. And it's up to we're down to you now, Cyrus. Hazra on 17.
Seeing this trident come thrusting towards me, I deftly sway with the ship to one side as it goes past, and with my right hand, I'll thrust my short spear out at this sea goblin, of which Mr. Pickles has told us many a tale. Oh!
I want him to bat it off the fucking boat. Holy shit.
Wouldn't it be funny if I get a critical 2 now?
No.
Okay, so obviously this sea goblin is going to parry. He does manage to parry, but yours is a critical, so it's a differential roll, so you get the advantage. So I actually need from you a special hit location and damage, and you can use a critical special effect if you wish.
I was going to try for.
Ooh!
I love his head off. Bypass armor. I was going for max damage, but I think I'm quite good with that anyway. So I'm going to bypass armor. The other special will be.
You'll just get one special because he didn't fail.
Oh, he didn't fail, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, do I do that then? Oh, yes, I bypass armor.
Definitely do the real big special though, because he got one. So.
Yeah.
So you're fine doing bypass armor because it's a crit, but yeah. So I need a hit location and then some damage, please. Ouch!
10.
Right on my 10.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, and I need some damage from you.
You can have some damage. No blade sharp, so here we go.
Has nobody given you blade sharp? Has nobody given you blade sharp?
He ran out before I could do anything. He's just got all jacked up on this fire magic. And
while you're doing nothing there, can you give me some blade sharp?
I went for cocky because my weapon does lots of damage. I won't do max damage, and I get a 2.
And you get that. Well, I wasn't going to say anything at this point, but
anyway, it's the heat of the moment. It's the middle of the night. He's woken up. He's shot. So that excuses.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you bypass its armor, and it does look like it's got some armor on. It seems to be some kind of leather, light leather, sort of like armor. And you go through and you actually bypass it. You find a chink at the shoulder, and in goes your blade, and some green blood seeps out of a shoulder wound, but he looks fine. Bartleby, you're up.
I would love to give a little boost to my friend, but I think the best option here, I would like to send a warning sign of shock spell or Sea Goblin number 2 to buy some space for my allies.
Excellent.
Here is the roll.
Oh, that's nice. So I get
you do get an evade.
An evade, yeah.
If you'd like.
Whoa.
Which I do, but it's opposed, which therefore you win on your 59 compared to my 42.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, give me some hit locations I need, and just one of them. 14. Ouch!
One turn and you're 14.
That's in his arm. Okay then. So that numbs his arm for one turn.
And it's very loud too.
Yeah.
The spell makes a loud crack, so I imagine it's just a sudden boom.
Yeah, so all of a sudden Primrose and Stanley wake up as this high crack comes and Primrose sees the sea goblin and sort of like screams and grabs Stanley to her. her ample breasts, and and sort of like covers him in. And you notice, Hazra, even outside, there's some the odd goblin that was climbing up the side of the ship when there's this huge crack and this bang, and a couple of them that sort of like that were coming up sort of like here and here lose their grip and scamper a bit, and you hear them splash down into the sea. Since my arm's paralyzed, he doesn't drop his weapon because it's a two-handed weapon. However, it means that he has to re-engage his second hand before he can use it, if that makes sense. Ulrich is up next, and he will, as always, you will hear him muttering to his this strange language that he often speaks as he goes into some brief trance. Yeah, okay then, and that's fine. That's all done. That's his action point removed. And Cyrus, you're up.
I'm gonna use this opening to go and attack with my glaive.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Swipe him.
I'm swiping. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so he can't actually parry because he hasn't got his second hand on the weapon. And plus he's in a doorway, so the chances of him actually trying to dive out of the room is not possible. So yeah, I need a hit location. You need a special hit location damage. That's what I need.
What's the one where press advantage, I think?
Press advantage.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, nice one. That's a good one, especially when you're fighting against a superior foe.
Superior foul. What?
13. Where does that hit him?
Right arm.
Oh,
Hit him to the
ouch!
body
Yeah, yeah, right arm. Ouch! That's a huge amount of damage in my little right arm. Armor will, of course, come off there, and yeah, you definitely pierce through some armor with your whatchamacallit, your glaive, and again, green blood oozes out from it. That's everybody up and done, I think. Yeah. So I'm just putting that on. So remember, he's got one. This next turn, he will be out of action. Yeah, so we're going to combat round one, still turn 2. And it's goblins first. So the sea goblin in front of you, Cyrus, can't do anything. This is his press advantage. And I'm going to give you the option. Because you're pressing advantage, would you like, as you press advantage, to move one step forward?
Sounds like a trap. Like if I'm pressing against him, maybe I can, dive in a bit.
It would just mean that he probably goes outside the door and you come up into the doorway, or you can stay where you are. Either or.
No, I'll push forward.
Okay, so
Yeah, because I might need to have to help Hazra soon.
There you go. So you press your advantage. So that's that. Outside, Hazra, we're coming straight over to you. Yours is a right pain because I have to keep putting this -9 on everything.
Sorry.
Oh, he takes a swipe at you, but actually misses.
Should I try to parry anyway?
Yeah, you can use up an action point and parry.
I'd like to do so, and let's see if this works. Oh no, did it? No, I just get high, didn't I?
Say again, sorry.
I did I need to get higher though, didn't I?
No, it's a differential roll, so it's a different of levels.
Right.
So it's like you succeeded as a normal attack. It was only if he got a critical that he
Yeah.
would knock you. So you actually have got the special now. So you will have a special hit location and damage. And of course, you'll need to do what you can do is a defensive one if you wish.
So I'm going to go for overextend opponent.
Nice.
So as he swings to me, I'm going to lean backwards so he comes forwards. You want location?
What does it do for me?
Basically, sorry, it doesn't do any damage to you, but it makes you fail your it cannot attack on next turn.
Oh, so it's a bit like
it's a bit like
press advantage,
yeah,
but the other way around. I'm just
right.
sorting out my cards because I've got so many
luck points. Go on, say it.
Luck points that they're all out of order, and it's annoying me. Which one was overextend opponent? That's it. Got it. Yeah. So attacker cannot attack on the next turn. Brilliant. So yeah. So you don't actually do any damage or anything like that.
No.
That's the special that goes in. So I'm going to put a 1 next to him. At that. So yeah, you step back and he sort of like stumbles a bit. It'd be fantastic on yours if you can trip opponent. Because you will have an action point left, won't you, as it comes to you?
So with that, I can see him falling towards me. Again, I will thrust my spear forward.
Nice. Ooh, yes. That hits. I can't cannot attack on next turn, but I don't have any action points left, so I can't defend in any case. So you've got another special, an attacking special, hit location, then damage.
Okay. Well, you put a brainworm in trip opponent. So I'm going to give you a special trip opponent to try and make him prone.
Nice.
But you still want damage and location, don't you?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Location's 11.
Yeah.
Oh, chest again.
Yeah, chest again. And how much? Yeah, you don't have your bypass armor on now, so you did 2 last time. Oh! We're slowly warming up. We're slowly warming up. So the trip opponent, I must make an opposed roll against your original attack roll, I think it is.
Indeed.
Yeah. So therefore, I can either use brawn, evade, or acrobatics. Well, I don't have acrobatics. What is my better one? Right, in 66 with the evade. Okay, so here it comes. Whoa, no, I fail. So therefore, yeah, tell me what you do to this poor.
So as I thrust my spear into his chest, I pull it out and sweep it under his left leg and just trip him back as he's moving towards me.
Brilliant. And you sort of like swipe it out, and he sort of like falls to the ground, so he's prone for next attack. 17, Bartleby.
I like to imagine that Hazra's out there just kind of messing with this goblin, almost just, you're not fully trying to stab him, you're just poking him.
Yeah.
And sparring with him in like a taunting kind of way.
Yeah.
It's mind games. You move your feet so fast with that -9, you just confuse him.
Do you wonder, I was dying for him to actually make his evade roll, because then Hazra would just sweep his his spear, and the sea goblin was just about to lift his foot up like that, just like go, just like go underneath, and that's it. But no,
I give that nod.
yeah, yeah. But is there anything you want to do, Bartleby, apart from cheer Hazara on?
Hey, Hazra, he's our man.
If I can do it in one action, I'd like to move to Cyrus and give him a little blade sharp.
Okay.
If I can't,
You broke up then.
Yeah. If I can move and cast blade sharp in one action on Cyrus.
Yeah. So what you'll have to do, it will be a hard roll.
Yep. I'm fine with that. Here's my blade sharp, and here's my roll.
Nice. Whack your blade sharp. Take your magic points off and whack your blade sharp onto
I'd use a point of
Cyrus.
luck there, wouldn't I?
Say again, sorry?
I'd need to use a point of luck there, wouldn't I?
Yeah, because it has
Because
to
it's
be.
hard.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, it's hard. Thank you. You nearly got away with it.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give you a luck point and take a
Okay.
point off.
So,
I want
brilliant.
you to have the power.
So you now, Cyrus, has blade sharp. So stick it on
Power.
your character however you would like. Okay, then. That comes down to Ulrich, who is quite sort of like trapped in now. He can't seem to do anything at all. So he will cast a spell, and he will cast it on himself, I think.
Ooh.
Always casting on himself.
It's kind of a
Yeah.
master caster, really.
Okay, then. So you are familiar with the spell that he's. It seems to be slightly different to your wording that you use, and which is slightly different from the wording that Hazra uses. But you're that Gulliver or Cyrus would use, but you definitely familiar. He's blade sharped his axe. And yeah, okay then. So that's on Ulrich, and then we're on to you, Cyrus.
All right. Would I be able to use my glaive to kind of, essentially push the goblin out?
Yeah, so
we can
you would.
make room?
So that would be a combat special. You would have
Oh,
to
okay.
sort of like whack it with the butt of your glaive, which
Okay.
means you would do less damage, but you would be allowed to use it's bash, isn't it? And therefore, the amount of damage you actually do will actually mean that how far he's knocked back.
Got it. Okay. I'll try that.
So, are you using the butt end of your glaive? Yeah.
Well, yeah. It depends if I succeed, but yeah.
You know, you need to tell me before you succeed on
Okay.
that.
Can I just ask, are these creatures twice the size or larger than Cap, than Cyrus?
Oh, that's a good thing, because he can't bash them back if they're bigger than him, can't they? We'll let that one go. Bash around, Cyrus.
Give you
All right.
blade sharp and use the blunt end.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's like when I give people might so they can do impale really easily, and then they're like, I'm just gonna do bleed.
Oh, my wrong thing. My bad. I pressed
No,
the
no,
wrong
it's no. You do what you feel what you want to go for.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Amriel-
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now I'm out of action this turn. So this is my turn that I can't act at all. So you actually have two specials, one that could be a critical if you wished.
Trying to remember what the critical ones are.
Max damage.
Yeah, I just do max damage.
Okay, yeah. So one of them could be max damage. What what would you like the other one to be?
Bash.
But yeah, bash does. So it's bash and max damage. Yeah. So first of all, do a hit location for me.
All right.
17. That's nice. And then roll a 1d6 for me,
Okay.
which is the damage.
What's max damage, right?
Oh yes, it was max damage. That I just need 17. So that's in his other arm, which
His
is
left arm.
which is in his left arm. Yeah. So that would be 6 points of damage, wouldn't it? So that'll take that down to 1. And yeah, so you're using bash. So I need to know fall back 1 meter per every 3 points of damage rolled.
So 2 meters in this case.
2 meters.
Yeah.
So he sort of like is out there now, and you're in. Oh, I like your little sword.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so you sort of like bash him, and he sort of like falls backwards. There's no obstacles there for him, so he doesn't need to make an acrobatic check or anything like that. But you do bash him away. And yeah, that's the end of combat.
Can I do one free action that turn back and say something to Bartleby?
Yeah, so you can only take a free action per round. So you haven't
Okay.
used yours for this round yet.
All right. I just want to turn back to Bartleby and say, there's not enough semen on the poop deck. And then, yeah.
Why
Have
would
you
tell
been
Bartleby that?
have you been saving that one up?
Awesome.
You've been saving that up, haven't you?
The entire time. That's the only thing I've been thinking about.
That's all you've been thinking
I'm
about.
gonna clip that.
Darth says that was brilliant, by the way. So, so you're good on there. Right, we're on to combat turn 3. We're on to combat turn 3, and just to let you know, I'm actually saying that if you press advantage, so they can't do an attack for a turn. I think what we should say is that you lose an action point for that. Because if not, you would press advantage, and then also these sea goblins would have 3 action points left. Does that make sense? And they would be able to do turn 4, 5, 6.
Well, I thought at the end of a turn you lost your action point anyway.
Or if they
It's
They
like
can't
it's
use
like dithering,
it.
isn't it?
they can't use it.
But it's like dithering, where
I don't
you're like,
know.
oh, don't know what to do, don't know what to do. Because otherwise, I'd press advantage of myself until the end.
Yeah. Okay, so no matter what, the rule would be the same, isn't it? That they've
Yeah,
lost it.
I think
Yeah.
after each turn, you lose an action point no matter
Yeah.
what.
Okay, so does anybody have any action points left for this round? I know that Hazard doesn't, I don't think.
No, I don't. No.
I never do.
You never do. Cyrus will, I think.
I think so
Yeah,
too, because he never parried.
No, I used all 3.
You used all 3.
Yeah.
But Ulrich doesn't. Ulrich does have 1 left.
I'll allow him to go past me too.
Well, he would normally be able to move past through you on a normal combat, as long as where he was going was free. But he can't, in the sense that you're in the door. And so what you would have to do, you would have to sort of like either face each other and squeeze past each other with your loincloths on. But at the moment, he's still trapped in there. So we're going back up to the top of the round 2 now. And we're starting up at the top with this poor this poor hobgoblin, sea goblin who's been overextended and tripped up, and his poor thing's on the floor. So he will take his first action to struggle to his feet, and that would be his first action. This sea goblin that you're facing, Hazra, he's been, you sort of like knocked him around for a bit. So I'm just going to make a willpower check with him to see whether or not he sort of like backs off even more, or sort of like decides to attack. Yeah, and he sort of like backs off as if to think that you are definitely, despite thinking, what. And the other reason he's backed off, by the way, is that he doesn't have a weapon.
He's thrown his dropped out.
Yeah, because didn't you bash him in his arm?
Yeah. No, we demolished his arms.
Yeah. So he's sort of like backing up because he doesn't have a weapon. But Cyrus, as he backs up, you do notice that there is on this turn, so he's using his action point to get up here. You notice that there's another sea goblin just sort of like clambering over the edge of the ship. And Hazra, we're to you.
Muted. Not done for ages.
Did you want to do a perception check to see the general?
Sorry, yes, I will do as well before I even do anything else. As he's down on the floor, I will take a quick glance around.
Yeah. So this would be the one that you could do for this round. Yeah, so the fighting on both, I'm not going to say it again, both upper decks are going well. You can see that there is there's 2 sea goblins behind you. One just coming off over the rail, the other one sort of like staggering back. The other thing that you can see is that it looks like you're going to have company very soon. Because there's another one who's just used its first action on the previous round to come up over the side there.
Seeing this, Hazard needs to end this little skirmish straight away. So he's going to plant his left foot backwards and thrust forward with his spear.
Yeah. Thrust away. Yeah, that's a hit. So my poor little, I know I've got a -9. I think it's still on. Yeah, so he will do his parry as it comes towards him. Yeah, how big's your weapon?
Oh, mine's only medium.
Yeah. So we're medium and medium, so he sort of like powers it. He takes no damage from
knocks it just to one side and it slides.
Cyrus, are you just going to spend your death?
Stop whispering to Bartleby.
They're just going to keep coming up, aren't they? Yeah, so that's us over. This one to your left has used its action point on this turn to come up. That's Hazra done. Bartleby, you're up.
This is happening at night, and I'm guessing my lantern's not lit yet, correct?
You probably have one lit somewhere, so that there are probably lights on the ship in any case, because we never make the place
there
totally dark. So
there would be like sort of, they would have a spotlight on it.
yeah, and there's sailors out sort of like waving flaming brands at sea goblins to keep them at bay. You do notice, Bartleby, that the captain has just emerged from his cabin behind you as well, due to the noise. He seems to be pulling on some kind of sword belt. He seems to also have taken the time to make himself look quite presentable with breeches, boots, and a white flamboyant shirt.
Good.
I would like to go to him and cast a prayer if I can in one action.
Okay, then. Does this require touch?
Yes, and I'm hoping to like put a hand on his shoulder and be like, the blessing of Amriel is upon you.
Okay, then. So what we're going to do is, okay, then. So he's going to make a willpower check. I know you two have had lunch together,
Yeah.
but this might be a little bit too forward, on the first.
Get off me! What are you doing?
Yeah, as he comes out shirtless, and he gets a 9. His willpower, by the way, is 16, but he actually gets a 9. And as you come towards him, he sort of like holds his hand out and sort of like says, stay back. He seems to be, or he probably says, stand aside, Mr. Bartleby. This is a foe against stronger than any of you. I will hold her now away. And he sort of like walks past you as you can try to sneakily touch him if you wish.
That's weird. So I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm just going to note to myself, if he dies, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Ulrich seems to be ready for combat, waiting for Cyrus to move. So he will delay his action just to be defensive if need be. Cyrus, you can feel the captain behind you as well. Just his presence, no other terminology or feel at all. We come to you, Cyrus. What would you like to do?
I just have one question. Is this
Is this a joke?
no? This one's fine. I will lay off them for at least a round. Is this one on
On the deck,
the
yeah.
deck? Okay. I mean, like, is he fully like planted? His feet.
He will be at the end of this. In his action. His action was 19.
Can I do a push on or shove on this one?
Yeah, you will.
Roll shove. My spell.
Yeah, you're not likely to tip him over, but you might trip him up or push him somewhere else. There's probably if there's.
It feels like I was way over. I was hoping I can do that, but I'm just gonna go after this guy then.
Okay, then. So you can step forward then and attack.
I'm gonna charge with my glaive at this mother. Sucker.
You're going to move, or you're just going to stay there?
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's not that big. Yeah. Okay. Cool. A bit of a miss there.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna roll my luck.
Okay.
Yeah. By reversing it.
Nice. So this sea goblin, he doesn't have a weapon at the moment. He's unarmed. But he can actually use his evade to dive out the way, or you could use unarmed combat. But he's just going to try to evade it as it comes in. He fails his evade, so you manage to spear him before he actually moved too far. So I need a special hit location and damage.
The hit location's that special is gonna be
This is number 2, isn't it?
Could I?
Yeah.
Could what is it? Is it impale or hold on a second?
Impale's a
This is bleed and sunder. Could I make him bleed?
it's your glaive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's glaive. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do a bleed. So at the end of the round, I will make a opposed roll against your what will it be? 57, won't it? Yeah, by the time we get there. Yeah. Okay then. So bleeds your special hit location is 16, and this is his left arm again. That takes it down to -3. So he needs to make an endurance check in order to stay at, what was yours? 57, yeah?
Yeah, it's on you.
Oh, he's up for the fight. He's up for the fight.
Good for him.
Yeah, you sort of like whack his left arm. His left arm is completely useless. And you see him sort of like, you see the red mist creep up across his face as he howls some unimaginable and unintelligible battle cry. And it looks like he's definitely going to attack you with his fists next round. Next turn, sorry. Yeah, and that's everybody done, I think.
How his arms are like have to be noodles by now.
His right arm was stunned. It took no damage. I think that's right, Mr. Bartleby.
That is correct.
That's right, yeah.
And it only lasted one turn, so it was probably numb and tingly, and then it was back to normal. Really
Yeah,
quick.
so by now his left arm he can't use. That's the one that you've hit twice. But his right arm and his mouth he can.
Has no rook been yet?
Too much time, buddy. Too much time.
Oh, he couldn't get out because Cyrus was in the door.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he can next time.
Kinda lazy.
So he delayed his action. And so we're coming up to combat round 2 still, but turn 2, and goblins are on fire. So what sea goblins are on fire. So
Our work is done here.
this one comes towards you, Cyrus, and Hazra, sorry, and this one comes towards you. That would be one of his actions. I'll do Cyrus's first just because it's easier, because I can take the -9 off. No, actually, I've got the -9 on, so I might well do yours, Hazra. So this is the one that is who's just got up. Yeah.
Yep.
He's attacking you first. Okay, and
Nice.
he will do
Sure, that's
a hit on you.
I will parry anyway.
Okay, parry away. Use that action
Parry
point.
away.
Yeah, you parry that. So with both medium weapons, so no damage
Just
is
0,
taken. But you will use an action point, and then the one to your left comes into attack.
Oh, nice. That's so nice. Oh, it's like me.
I'll have that. So, in order to fully parry this,
I need to get a special.
you need to get a special.
I'll
Or
parry
you
it.
can use a luck point.
No, I'll just parry it.
Make that a 1.
Oh!
What?
This is psychological warfare.
Yeah.
You let him get a critical just so you could
I
definitely knock him
love that. Yeah, why waste luck points? We don't.
Gosh.
We
Oh.
don't need luck points at all in
Thank
this
you,
game.
Thank you, Amriel and the luck gods.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah. So he actually.
Basically, as this happens, the Goblin 1 comes up and tries to swing at me, and I use my spear to parry that. And then at the corner of my eye, I see Goblin 2 move in to do the same move. and I sweep around and bash the weapon aside.
You're almost like a battle dancer here,
I
Hazra.
was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you
It could be a new passion. I could become a sorcerer.
Yeah, you have you been taking lessons from Cyrus
That's
as this happens?
Actually, did we mention that that's kind of what we have been doing?
Wonderful.
So so he will take up
Oh, I don't get a special for that, do I?
no, you don't get nobody gets
No,
anything.
literally,
It's just sort of
no.
like no damage done, but you the one to your right has no action points left, and the one to your left does. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And so we're going down to and I can take this -9 off now. So yeah, this is you, Cyrus. So this first one is the claw attack. So he can't use his sea goblin attack. He's just sort of like raking his claw across you and trying to hit you. Yeah, he will hit you.
That's fine.
You can parry if you wish.
So I don't want to use all of my I don't want to use all of my things, so I'm not going to parry it.
You'll get
Okay.
a special though.
He will get a special.
Like he could start tripping you or doing nonsense like that,
But
or
I
he
have
could
another
take
guy
your
on me.
clothes.
He can
And
take-
take his clothes.
I don't know. It's like he
Yeah.
takes his claw and he just grabs a shirt and rips it off of him.
It gives
No, I'm
you
just
your
like-
wedges.
But here's saying I only got so many actions, and I got 2 guys on me. I kind of need to save it, and I can't save it just by deflecting his weak left arm or right arm. I'm gonna have to accept what he comes after me.
Okay then.
Hopefully, yeah.
So he is going to, as he enraged, he sort of like swipes at you and sort of like you take a slight step back, and he's going to press advantage on you as he comes hurtling towards you. And so he's swiping his arm left, right, and center. And so you're ducking it too much that you can't actually attack for one turn. So it'll be
Well, I can't attack him for 1 turn, right?
no, you can't attack.
Oh, I can't.
You
attack
can
him.
defend, but you can't attack because he's sort of like raking his arms around. But the one that just came up to you, he can attack. So he will hit you.
But
So
I'm going to parry that one at least.
yeah, okay then.
I'll
So
do
you can use action points to defend. That's absolutely fine.
that. Yeah, I'll do that.
So as long as you succeed, you'll be all right. Yeah. So he thrusts his trident at you, but you manage to whip your glaive around and block that. So Hazra, we're with you.
Unsurprisingly, I have no action points on turn 2.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Um,
Yeah, I parried twice and I stabbed once, didn't I?
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bartleby, you're up.
Sorry, just on a side note. No, I can't move because I've got no action points.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll be quiet. Bye.
I should still have an action point here. My last one. My goal is to go and use the shock spell to help out Cyrus because he said weird things and I think he needs help.
Yeah. So
Weird nautical things, but I don't know if I need to spend an action point to get to the door and then
well,
assess
you don't. You can move and cast in any case, and you only need to take a few steps forward to see out the door, and then you'll be able to see. You can actually see the sea goblin that's attacking via his hands, because you can't see this one because this is a set of stairs. But you can see the one that you shot before.
I think he needs another warning then. So he's going to be my target.
Okay.
A bam and a bam.
Yeah, you hit. He has an evade roll, I think, to resist.
Versus my 20.
Yeah, which he has to use his action to evade, no matter what. Against your 20.
Oh.
He fails. So I need.
Aha.
Oh, don't whack it. Oh, don't be nasty to this one.
Aha! Right in the left arm again. Oh no.
14. That's his right arm.
It says stop swinging.
So his right arm, the one that he's attacking with at the moment, because you've you incapacitated his left arm, haven't you? That's sort of like hanging off. So he won't be able to attack you next round because he's using his fists. Ulrich now moves out, and he's going to come and join you, Cyrus, over
That's
over here,
that's,
and the
Treasure.
the captain comes out, and please no comments about his gender fluidity.
He's pretty.
Can I put glitter on my
And the
armor?
captain comes out and he'll be able to attack next round, but Ulrich moves out and can attack this round. So he'll take an action point to whack this one to your left, Hazra. This is his axe. He attacks, he hits. The goblin needs to make, as he comes out, he sort of like bellows at this this sea goblin, engaging his special ability that if you remember, he gained this last training session. So as he sort of like
Is this something that's new to the game?
taunt, Hengist had it for ages.
I'm just messing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, I fell for that one.
Sorry.
Oh, you mean. Yes, it is new. It's completely new. Nobody's ever had this before at all. The sea goblin actually he succeeds, but he doesn't get my attack. He doesn't get higher than my attack. So my attack wins as I bring my axe to bear. He will press advantage. So this one now, just so you know, Hazra, this one is engaged with Ulrich. So he will now it's normally 1d6 plus 1, but he's got blade sharp on it. So is it 1d8 plus 1?
That's like as a fun dice, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's going to be
Or is it plus 2?
hang on.
Plus 2, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
increases the damage of a weapon by 1 dice step and leaves this. Thus, casting a spell on a dagger is 1d6, whereas the same spell on the great axe would do. Yeah, so it does 1d8. Well, 1d8 plus 1. So let me just. I need to do hit location first. 11. Is that an arm? I just feel that we're just chopping off arms at the moment.
Chest, isn't it? 11.
Chest, yeah.
Oh, yes. This is number 4. Chest. So 1d8. 4 points plus 1, 5 points. And that goes into the chest, leaving that like that. Nice. We, we're about to break Bartleby. We'll wait till he comes back. We'll break at the end of this combat. We'll finish the combat round if that's all right with people, and then break then.
We all just duck down when he comes back.
Yeah. Cyrus. Oh, you can't do anything
Wait. Oh, I can't. Still okay because yeah.
because you pressed advantage, but yeah. So that's your when we come. Yeah. So that's your turn done now. So that's all done and dusted. The Sea Goblin, it'll be 19. Okay, then. So we're going back up to the top. For anybody who's got combat, got action points left. Aquatic Goblins. This one's pressed advantage, so he can't do it. The one opposite you, Hazra, has no action points left. This one can't do. The one in front of you can't do anything because he's.
That was got no points left, right?
Yeah. The one in front of you, Cyrus, can't do anything because he's stunned. His arm is stunned for this round, this turn. So that's coming off him now. This one, however, does have an action point left. So
This one right here.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's going to thrust. He's going to present it, line himself up. Do you have any action points left?
I have 2 because I saved it from getting hit by his punch.
Oh, got you.
2 action points.
2.
I only use one. I only use one to parry this one's
Okay.
attack.
So this is his attack. He misses. Oh, I don't know why it's rolling twice there, but he definitely misses. Hazra.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any action points left?
I do not. No.
Okay,
I've
then.
got action points.
Bartleby, you won't. Ulrich has 1 left. So he will swipe at this guy, this goblin.
Whoa, that's the third
third,
one in
yes.
I know.
this game.
Yeah, don't complain because we're all the nice side is getting it. That's
know.
what.
Oh.
The Goblin got it last time.
Oh no, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, but then we got him with a 5.
Yeah.
So the hobgoblin, he does have 1 action point left. So he would actually, because he can parry, because he's just pressed advantage. Okay, so this is a classic case. Can you see Ulrich has won?
Yeah.
Because even though that's a standard, my critical is higher.
Correct, yeah.
But he only gets 1 crit, 1 special. Yeah. So he's going to do he'll just choose max damage and whack this thing as hard as he possibly can. In its 5, this is number 4. I don't know why that
leg, isn't it? Something 5.
and that is wrong character sheet. Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah, left leg.
Left leg. Brilliant. So it would be 1d8 plus 1, so it'd be 8 plus the 1, so it'd be 9 points of damage in its left leg. Is it? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ouch.
That thing off.
Ouch.
Don't need that anymore.
9. Yeah. So that takes it down to negative hit points at that point. So here's his endurance check, and of course he has to match a critical. So if he got 2 now, he survived he's succeeded in his roll. Okay, so if he gets a critical that's higher than 1, then he's actually succeeded.
If not, can we chuck his leg in the sea
Yeah.
with all those ears?
So he actually fails his roll, so he is
You
actually.
could use the point to look and reverse it.
I'm not going to, because he's my
He's all
character.
working on like you should work on them sea legs, bro.
It's my character, and I want him to turn out really good. He just looks super now. Okay, then. So he's out for the count. That seems. Sorry.
I get Cyrus.
Cyrus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in for the attack.
So you've got one left, haven't you?
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
Well,
nice one.
I guess I can only use one per.
Yeah. So if you didn't
Turn
use
anyways.
one, because that's what I was thinking, we'll never get past turn 3, won't we?
Yeah.
Because if you don't
That's
use
right, you
one,
never
and
get past it. Exactly, never get past it because if you don't use it, you lose it.
yeah, don't use it,
Yeah.
lose it. Yeah. So you can swipe at this one down here.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Swipe away.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's hits. So he hasn't got any action points left, so I need special hit location damage.
Press advantage, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. And then
So hit location and damage.
6, which probably legs or something.
6, yeah, his left leg.
And
This is number 3. 5, 4, 3.
No.
Okay, yeah. So it's just gone. We'll take a break now, and we'll come back to this combat after our break. So we'll be back. Can we say 10-2? Is that all right with players?
yeah.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. So
Of course,
we'll
we tend
be
to.
we'll be back 10 minutes to the hour. Snack time indeed. Okay, we'll see you real soon. Now I've got to try to find a scene that I can put up. AFK. But where's AFK? That one. We are back. We are back, and we're still in combat, would you believe? The combat that started, and this is one of the reasons I really like Mythras, because the combat is just not hit damage, hit damage, hit damage. It's much more involved. However, Bartleby and Cyrus, you need to make endurance checks, I think. Oh, Bartleby's fine.
Pronounced Buffleby.
Bufferby. Oh!
As opposed to somebody.
So
It,
have a tick in the endurance box, but also add 1 level of fatigue up at the top of the character sheet. I think you had this last time as well. I'm not too sure. I think you failed rather than fumbled, but well done. That's a good fumble. And okay, then we're going.
I did fumble endurance before because that's where you checked that.
Brilliant. Yeah. So keep fumbling. That's the answer. Okay.
you've already ticked the box.
Yeah.
Does he make a note so he has to tick it twice, or do you get 2 in the same campaign? I'd like the yes on this, but if you fumble twice in the campaign, because we don't do it till the
yeah, I'm quite happy for people to have 2 ticks or 3 ticks, as long as people don't start picking a skill that they know that the rubbish.
Roll 100.
Yeah, to go up. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That'll be fine. It's only another point, isn't it? It's not as if it's a huge amount. So in combat round 3, turn 1, and it's Sea Goblin's turn. So starting from the bottom, Cyrus, that one next to you, down there has a can't do anything this turn, so it can't actually attack you. What happened? What happened to my friend? Is he losing? Oh, he's still up, isn't he?
Which one? The one next to me?
Yeah,
He should be bleeding.
Yeah,
he's bleeding. Yeah. So, oh yes, that's it. So we need to roll an endurance roll for him against your original
57, I think.
well, he fails that, so he's actually almost like the same as you now. He is 1 level fatigue, so he is winded, which is not good. But apart from that, he can attack, I think. What did you do to his arm? Oh yeah, you damaged it, but you didn't rip it off or anything like that. So he will take a swing at you. This is unarmed.
Well, it's paralyzed, right? That's what
Was
this
paralyzed for one
was
turn.
paralyzed. Okay.
What, this one? The bottom one.
I'd stunned his right arm, but you
no, the
already
top
took
one.
the token off before.
This
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Say that again, sorry.
He should be able to attack this turn
Yeah.
because I stunned his arm, but then you took the token off
Yeah.
last turn.
That's brilliant. Okay, so
yeah,
this
he
is,
attacked last turn with his arm, didn't he?
he's being tough with his arm, but he should be up now. So this is his unarmed combat. Remember, this is at hard because he's taking a level of fatigue from the bleed.
So that means he failed.
So he actually fails that. So that's that one. That's that one. The one in front of Ulrich is dead, and the one in front of you, I think, is still up.
He's indeed.
Well, he's been down once,
Yes.
and then he's back up. So he will use his action to take a swipe at you, and I need to change it back to -9. There. Okay, cool. So, oh, hang on, didn't go in. I really like that idea that if it's over 100, yeah, he misses altogether. Hazard, did you want to parry?
You got to parry your mic back on.
I just turn my mic off to talk. If it's swinging towards me, I will parry.
He's going to miss you.
Yeah, I'll still, if it's
Okay,
going this
yeah.
direction, I will try to parry.
Go for it.
That one. Oh.
Yeah, so you use your action point and parry, so you will have a defensive special.
Gosh, yes. In which case, again, I will seeing this trident come towards me. I will again lean, but to the other side.
Oh yes.
So it throws him off, and he'll overextend. So no damage done, but he will lose his attack next turn.
Yeah, nice. So I'll pop that up there. That's all me. That's all me done. On 19. So 17, it's you, Hazra.
So with that, as he's overextended his opponent, he's going to try and thrust his spear up into that opening that you can see.
Ooh, I hope you get a crit.
Oh, it would be nice.
It would be nice.
Oh,
what?
That's so close. I could have got a free point that I've already got. Oh gosh.
That's because anything above 96 is always a fail.
You fail, exactly.
No matter what.
I'm not going to use a luck point because I think Hazard's been getting a little bit cocky in a sense. And he's seen that trident come across and he thought, I can get you there. And he's going, oh, no. And he's probably stumbled himself.
Got you.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you're still in combat there. And Bartleby?
I would like to have Bartleby go outside, or I want to have him go out and see the bullying that Hazard's doing, as well as assess the situation, see if there's any goblins that.
Okay, so you could probably move to here.
Coming up that he might be able to target. Okay, yeah, that's about where I wanted to go.
Yeah. So yeah, you could use a free action to take a glance around. if you would like to.
And
Just roll a perception.
I would love to.
Oh, you keen-eyed person.
We're doing the best here. We should save
Stop
these rolls
stealing
for.
our crits.
Yeah. So so what I'm going to say, because you got a crit, okay, then that what I'm going to say is that you sort of like up on the front deck, higher up, as you quickly observing around, you see a sailor hacking into a fallen sea goblin. And as you quickly look round, this is only because it's a critical, and I think it should be special. As you're looking around, you see another sea goblin coming up, ready to thrust this sailor in the back with his trident. And because you got a crit, you suddenly manage to shout out, "Look out!" or something like that. And at that point, the sailor sort of like looks round, and as he turns his body, and the trident just sort of like sticks, slides past and hits nothing but air. Yeah, okay then. That's enough for Bartleby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So useful.
So Ulrich
I
is
do.
say again, sorry.
I said I
Doesn't even feel
do.
useful. Yeah.
So do you know, I think we should get Bartleby a cat. So he got like a familiar, and I think
He feeds a lot of the cats in the lower Lindo area, so
yeah,
they just follow him.
they just follow. I think, and Hasra will be able to tell me this, or anybody. I think in 5e, well, in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, if you could conjure up a familiar, but if you had the familiar killed at any point, you took double the amount of damage of the familiar's hit points.
Right.
So you could have a familiar that sort of like had 10 hit points, but if it got killed, you would take 20 hit points of damage. Which I always liked that. I thought it was a good way. Just
look after your familiars. Is what
yeah,
the motto
exactly.
is there.
So Ulrich, just to sort of like take him out, so I don't need to keep rolling for me. He's sort of like he goes up onto the poop deck, and carries on bashing sea goblins and helping out. Seamen up there, etc., etc. And Cyrus, you're up.
On the poop deck.
I'm gonna go in again and attack this guy. Well, actually, hold on. If I cast Vigor on myself, would that push me back into standard instead of winded?
Yeah.
Or
So it would be a hard folk magic
roll?
cast.
Mhm.
But remember, you're already tired, so you're already at hard.
Mhm.
So it will be a formidable skill roll to cast a spell in this current situation.
Now, if Bartleby wanted to be, like say,
Yeah, but how would Bartleby know
productive.
without you saying, "Give me an energy drink, Bartleby"?
All right, we're not having a tiff. You're not having
Like, that's one where I feel as a player, I can't just be like, "Oh, he looks a little sweaty."
I
feels
think
like a
that is good role
I
play.
I want you to be the water boy of the group, and I just
But somebody
I'm
would
fine.
have
You
to
just gotta
say.
use-
Somebody would have to say
you gotta use
water,
our
please.
words.
Yeah, water,
Yeah,
please.
use your words.
All right.
So yeah, so do you want to try to cast a spell, or do you want to?
No, I'm
whack
gonna
him?
go for attack, but I use my free action to shout. If maybe a little boost in energy,
Okay.
please.
And
I'm gonna
the
go for attack with this one.
captain looks at you sideways and smiles.
Okay, that's fine.
He's got a boost all ready for you. Off you go.
Not a booster C.
Yeah.
It's a rooster booster.
It's a rooster booster.
Boo.
Boo. Boo.
Should I? No, because he's already like has like what 18 lucks
do,
he's gonna
yeah.
throw at us. I'm not gonna use my luck then.
Okay, so you swipe out and he misses. The captain stabs this one from the side. He didn't know it was coming, so and he actually hits it nicely across the neck. And this one is out of action. And we're coming to combat round 3, still turn 2, and we are up at the top. And this one is the one that's coming towards you, Hazard. This is the one that I need the -9 for.
Yeah.
And boom. Yes, it will hit you.
Very nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
decisions.
I've said it before. He's coming towards me. He'll parry it. So
Yeah.
I'll parry it.
Nice. Oh,
Ooh,
you
what the
do
heck?
parry it.
Like them apples.
So, okay then. So you will actually have one special, but it could be a critical.
Mm.
So do you know which ones are criticals?
Oh, shut them. I do.
See very many.
Slip
critical
free,
defense.
select target, pin weapon, force failure, enhanced parry, blind opponent, accidental injury.
Yeah.
So do you know what I'm going to do? Yes, I'm going to blind opponents. And as he comes in with his trident, you'll see Hasdra with his spear, but his left hand will flick out across the nose and eyes of this goblin, and his nails will just scrape across as he's sort of leaning to one side, and this trident's going past, and he spears out, and he just goes slice
Nice.
out with his hands.
Okay then. So I need to make the attacker. I need to make an evade roll or weapon style if I'm using a shield and I'm not, versus the defender's original parry, which is 9 critical. So I would have to succeed, I need to get a critical, which is higher than 9. Okay, which
So you need to have a skill of like 110.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. But he will naturally evade. And remember, no matter what, when you use evade, it's an action point, which takes his action points down. So I am now blind for the next 1d3 turns. So would you like to roll a 1d3? You could say no. You could just say
1d3. Yeah. Oh,
nice. Okay, so he is now blinded. Okay, blinded by the light.
blinded.
So he's sort of like really struggling now. Bartleby, what would you like to do?
Well, Cyrus made a request, and I'm trying my best to interpret this wrong, but I don't think he'd be talking about might. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a slap on the back if I can.
Okay, remember it'd be hard because he's in combat.
Counting on it. Here we are, and here's the roll. Oh no. I think I'll give you a point to re-roll it.
Okay, re-roll it. That's better. That is better. So you do remember you only lose 1 magic point for it, no matter what. So Cyrus, you Bartleby relieves you of your tiredness by channeling the power of Amriel.
I like to imagine I look like Thanos when he has all the stones. He's like,
I thought it might be. I haven't watched that film yet, by the way, but
what?
I
I didn't mean to spoil the biggest.
It's
film
all
of
right.
time for you.
it's all right. There's a wonderful clip on YouTube when they put it to Holding Out for a Hero, to the last battle, and it's quite good. You know, it starts off. It looks like Captain America. His shield's all broken, and he sort of like has a gash down his arm, and he sort of like pulls it tight, you know, and grimaces. It's really good, you know. And then he says, "What is it? Look to your left, is it?"
On your left.
On your left.
On your left.
On your left, that's it. Which the Falcon says to him, Captain
Yeah.
America, doesn't he?
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm actually watching them all in sequence at the moment.
Oh, good.
So I'm up to Black Panther, which I'm not enjoying at the moment at
Yeah.
all.
Oh, just a quick news flash. Katie Sokoff, who played, oh God, thingy in Mandalorian, has got her own series.
Oh, right.
Katara,
I don't know.
right?
So Zero
Right.
was saying to me today that whether or not am I watching Boba Fett on
Brilliant,
Disney.
brilliant.
And I said,
Well, yeah, episode 2.
I said, no, I haven't watched it yet. And then he said, have you watched Mandalorian, is it? And
Yeah.
I said, no. So he said, watch that
Shut
one
up.
first.
Yeah, you're the
Ah.
Star Wars fan. I would imagine you'd be watching at least
Yeah.
those things.
No,
understand maybe
I'm a Star Wars fan from episode 4 to episode
Yeah,
6.
Yeah.
this
Well,
just happens after 6.
The Boba Fett is perfect for the comic that I had back in the 80s, which was when Boba Fett comes out the Scarlet Pit.
Oh,
And
Oh,
it's like
that was canon for a
fantastic.
bit. That was canon.
Yeah, that's right. I had the comic, and it was like
I
the
didn't know
Darth
that.
Vader comic. Yeah, it was actually a comic
nice.
back in the 80s.
Okay.
I didn't like the taste of them. Sorry.
Meanwhile, back on ship, Cyrus, you're up. If you got any,
Feeling
action points.
invigorated and all encompassing in his prowess. Let's change things up a bit and smash again, but this time with a fresh outlook on things.
Yeah, nice.
I'm smashing this guy right here
Yeah, that's cool.
because the other guy's dead, and I just feel like
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
I don't want to be kicking a dead water goblin.
Sea
Be
goblin.
invigorated. I'm gonna
Sea
kill this
goblin.
one deader.
Yeah. Yes, this is going to be really,
Really
dead
hate this
at
one
this one.
specifically.
So roll your yes, that does hit. But I've got an action point, so I'm going to parry. Oh yeah!
Fuck.
Oh! Oh! Ooh! So this
This is
is
a very critical
Oh.
session.
It is.
A lot of crits today.
Let's see.
And I have the one fumble. Great.
And what can I do? I could overextend opponent. I could accidental. Oh no, that's accidental injuries when you parry.
It's not always wise to overextend on the poop deck.
But I know what I'm going to do, because as combat is coming to the end of this turn, I'm actually going to use withdraw, and he's just going to dive over the edge of the ship, and you don't get attack of opportunity or anything like that
Damn it.
because he's using withdraw. Okay, and we're going to leave the combat there, but there's something else you have to do. We're going to start with you, Hasra. We're going to start with you. Could you just roll for me just a normal combat roll? Just a normal combat roll, no modifiers or anything like that. Just... Okay then. You can roll a 1d6 for me. Okay. Bartleby, can you roll your normal combat roll?
My normal combat roll.
No, actually, no.
Oh, good.
Don't do your combat roll. Roll
Street
your
thug style. Oh,
roll your what's it called? It's not
Oratory.
Exhort.
exhort. That's it. Yeah, roll your exhort.
By the power of Amriel.
Yes, so you can roll a 1d6 as well.
Destruction.
Okay.
1.
This is
That could be good. Never know.
Eh,
so this is Ulrich's. No, sorry, that's not his combat roll. Let me just roll his.
it's a good combat roll.
Uh,
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So he gets to roll a 1d8. And finally, Cyrus, roll your combat skill. Right, you can roll a 1d4 for me, please. Okay, then. So as the battle progresses, the sailors start to carry on fighting, and you move round to kill anybody who's sort of like still around. Hazra, you take down 5 more sea goblins as you
Wow.
go around and help other sailors defeating the goblins. Bartleby, you managed to save or protect 1 person during this battle with your spells of some description. Ulrich kills 3 from his, and Cyrus, you just kill another 1. So it's almost like in order of combat prowess. Well, no, because Cyrus is quite good, I suppose. Yeah. So
I would never say that to Ulrich either.
yeah, and so you sort of like this sort of like goes on, and you manage to kill things, and then after the combat, if there's any sea goblins on the boat, on the deck, etc., there's time to sort of like repair everything, but to treat the injured. So I'm assuming, Bartleby, you would want to treat any injured souls.
Absolutely. But I would like to inspect one of the bodies afterwards, like look at its sharp teeth, a close
Yeah.
up look at those creepy eyes.
Yeah, and that will probably allow you to have an increase in monster lore at the end of the adventure. Just roll your devotion, your exhort skill, please.
Exhort.
Yeah, and then roll 1d6. So you actually managed to save or staunch the bleeding using first aid and spells of 6 of the injured. I'll just tell you how many there were. Yeah, there were 8 of them there, and you managed to deal with 6.
I mean, you let 2 die.
But the ship's surgeon works on the other 2.
Oh, okay.
And makes them better. You do notice that Ulrich is doing his normal, almost like lay souls to rest. He sort of, even the goblins and any sailors, he spends his time almost like going from one to one, kneeling and uttering some strange language over them, and then he's quite happy for them to be tossed overboard. And there's a massive cleanup project in action as people are sort of like tidying things up, mending things, etc., etc. Can I just say that you didn't take, am I right, you didn't take 1 hit?
No, he didn't.
I don't think any of us got injured.
No. So
Even with our 7 shield, we never even touched us.
So just to let you know, so they had a combat rating of their trident of 80%,
Yeah.
and
What damage does that do?
they did not hit you once.
Yeah.
What damage would their tridents do?
They would only
1d10,
1d8.
1d8, right?
So there's only
if that would go through the
one
shield.
chance. Yeah, the shield. That means they can only do one
point,
point of
yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
At max hit, which you guys are welcome.
But
Yeah.
which is brilliant. But to be fair, Hazra in his mind would still be like, he's naked, he's got a loincloth, all right, he's got a glow, but he doesn't know how powerful that glow is. It could be just a ready back glow.
Is that a
I
glow?
like to imagine Cyrus sleeps naked, so I don't know if he's
Yeah.
wearing loincloth.
It's just like, is that a glow? Or are you just pleased to see me, Hazra?
Yeah.
This is
The funny thing is, you guys, you got my pajamas, but I don't sleep in them.
yeah. So the captain thanks you all and sort of like shakes your hand and sort of like says that you are welcome on board his ship at any time, and he really owes you a favor for this. So it's not exactly a passion, so to speak. It's more of a favor. If the Seacrest is in port, you can actually go and talk to him, and he owes you one, if nothing else, and he's quite willing to pay for that. The sailors are muttering and talking about the heroic actions that have happened, and they talk about the power over nature as lightning cracked down from the skies, and how you all launched into combat without armor on, but just with your weapons to protect you. And at one point, you do hear over sat in one of the corners of the boat, sort of like down here. You do, as you pass by, see what appears to be the bard of the boat, for want of a different word, who's got one of those squeezy boxes, those little accordions, that and you can hear that he's composing a story, a song about the attack of the sea goblins and the brave fights that occurred during that time. It looks like you might be immortalized in song. The other thing that happens, Hazra, once you're dressed, is Stan is really excited about what happened. And you see him, you sort of like talk to him, and you see him a little bit while later with some kind of stick, sort of like wishing it around and parrying it and saying, "Take that, sea goblin," and saying that he's tripped them up and beaten them to a pulp. He seems to be mimicking you very well.
Seeing this, I will walk up to him and say that is very good, Stan. You just keep practicing, and one day you will be a mighty warrior.
I want to be a mighty warrior like you, Hazra.
Oh, I still have many things to learn, but just as long as you are strong enough to protect your mother, that's all that you need to worry about.
Hazra, now that my dad's died, would you be my daddy?
I could not think of a most wonderful son, but I'm afraid, Stan, that as much as you are wonderful, I have greater things that I must do, which are too dangerous for you to come with.
But surely you must like my mummy. She's very nice.
Adopt him.
Push the child overboard.
Where's Stan? No idea. He's gone somewhere.
Who's Stan?
Yeah.
She's a wonderful woman, Stan, but You should not be concerned about these things at your age. You just have fun. And remember, grow up strong and you'll be able to protect your mother.
I'm going to be as
And
good
be
as you,
honest.
Hazra.
Be honest and true and protect people who are weaker than you.
Let's fight.
Bang! No, sorry.
And this is when you get thrown off the boat.
Sparkle,
for child
man!
endangerment.
Now, I don't want you bearing a hatchet in his head just because he takes your skill.
Call back.
Oh,
No,
God.
I probably should approach the captain and ask, is it typical for this boat to be attacked this many times by random encounters?
No, I was thinking the same thing. It seems that you landlubbers have brought us a little bit of, shall we say, bad luck.
It's like he has a sign on the back of the boat that says this poop deck's
Hit
open
me.
for business.
Yeah. We'll be glad when we get to Windvine. At least let's hope the rest of the journey is free from incidents.
I'm just
What
this
did
is Medevac's reaction. That's all I needed.
I didn't see it.
He's dying. I love it.
I'm definitely going to have to watch the replay. This is going to be enjoyable. Okay. Does anybody else wish to do say or do anything after the battle as people, progress and we head back on back to sailing to Windvine? Yeah. Does anybody want to say anything or interact?
Right, we had this was like the second night in the cove, isn't it? Where we
Yeah, so you were ashore and the ship was docked in the
that's right,
cove.
for repairs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's 7 days.
Yeah.
So I think the next morning I'd like to take Stan. I promised him I would, and I didn't yesterday because we had to check out what the land was like when we got there.
Yeah.
And I did promise, and Hazra is one that will always stick to something he said if possible. So he'll take Stan across to with everybody else if they want to come, just get some more food and water and things, strip to legs, and spend a bit of time with him. But just wandering around, maybe poking his stick at some trees.
Yeah. And before you go, Primrose comes up to you, Hazra, and says, Master Hazra, please look after my only child. Well, he's on shore. Please do not let him be injured in any way at all.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I lost him. He was 1 minute.
What child? I went on my own. He stayed. No, don't worry, my lady. I will look after him as if he is my spear.
Excellent. So you two can go off. Bartleby, is there anything that you would like to do?
Hazard always throws his spear. That I might need to come along and make sure nobody has a broken neck. And also, I would like to be on the island.
Sorry, Mr. Pickles.
No.
You went all robotic, and all you were doing is whoa, whoa, whoa. That's all we had. Yes.
Yeah, my internet might be having an issue.
Yeah. So, what would you like to do, sorry, Bartleby?
I heard that you were going to treat the child like you treat your spear, and you throw your spear. So I think that Bartleby would like to go along with to make sure no child ends up with a broken neck.
Nice. Yeah. So we can have a couple and Stan going to the shore. Cyrus, is there anything that you would like to do?
Cyrus is going to treat the child like he treats his own children. He's just going to ignore their existence.
Nice.
Yeah. But he probably will like to focus eventually, either this night or any other nights at the cove, in strategizing with the group on how to best approach Mel. And that's something we could probably, as players can talk about outside of.
Yeah, I think
this.
that's absolutely.
We'll probably talk about it via the Discord chat and try to
Yeah.
figure out.
And then I can see your plan and adjust the encounter accordingly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
to be fair, we can talk about it over the campfire, and maybe just yeah, and let it see how things roll out.
Do you guys want to do that via this, or do you guys want to do it via? Yeah, if we do, I have some ideas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you want Ulrich there or not?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see. He's still a mystery, so I don't really know what he offers besides an act.
Well, you are learning a little bit of him every now and again, I think.
A little bit, yeah. Still a creep, but
yeah.
He's the creep we need, though.
So you're all huddled around the campfire, toasting whatever. Cooking whatever. Hazra has bought
a
and
little stand sat there, and he's got a stick with some food on it, and it's in
just
a
sick of
fire.
fish at this point.
And Stan is there, and he's had something to eat, and he's sort of like leaning up against Hazra as he slowly drops off to sleep. So it seems an opportune time to discuss your battle plans.
So
Dennis,
sorry, you go.
When we finally meet Melanie, how do you suggest we continue this? How do we go forward?
If the opportunity presents itself, we must ambush her, and we must ambush her where we're close to her. So it has to be enclosement. So if she's walking through an alleyway or something, that's when we have to attack, because if we give her plenty of space to attack us from afar, then we're going to be obliterated.
I agree with your principal things, but at what point in Lindo have we ever seen Melanie walking alone in an alleyway or anywhere? We have never seen
the opportunity.
What I've seen, my friend, is that she sends her minions out, like little tendrils to see what is happening, and she's in the middle of the web, just sat there waiting. And I don't think she will be that forthcoming for us. This is my, as a hunter, and I know how game react, and she is no game. She's a hunter.
Yeah, I don't know, the opportunity probably won't present itself. We're going to have to make it that. So, but it also depends on how our approach is going to be. Are we going to, or someone's going to focus on the minions that she's definitely going to have around her, or do we focus on her and then worry about the minions afterwards if we're able to succeed in attacking her?
Ulrich sort of like is listening intently, as if he's learning how you strategize and how you create battle plans, and he says, is there a chance she might try and escape?
If she thinks she's going to lose, yeah, absolutely. She's a coward, so it makes sense.
Self-preservation is I would have thought, is everybody's main reason for being.
She has pride, but she has pride in winning, not pride in losing.
If she tries to escape, would there be a method that she uses?
She will most likely change form and fly away.
So we need to be ready for that.
Possibly a net or something to,
or
expect her to fly up, so we capture her in that way.
Or a bolt, a loud cracking bolt.
I see where you're going with this, Ulrich, and it's a very good idea. Maybe if she tries to turn into something and fly away, then Mr. Bartleby could paralyze her with what he did to that zombie's arm last night. Is that what you mean?
Yes, or maybe just pry.
That
That's another. I have one extra trick up my sleeve in this situation. There's one spell that I've essentially taught myself that's not under the acceptable spells under my order that she doesn't have. I'm able to switch consciousness with other people. She doesn't have that. That's not an Order of the Phoenix ability, and that's the one thing I have against her that she might not only know I don't have, but also I might be able to use against her. But it won't be specifically her. Her willpower, like mine, is too high, so I'm going to have to switch bodies with someone near her. But if she doesn't see it coming, I can use that to my advantage.
is that like when we tied that man up in my bedroom?
Also, when that time where we save the world from werewolves.
Oh, good grief.
Well, to be fair, that's all I remember from that night. He had to tie somebody. He had to tie Cyrus up actually in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watch over him.
Yes.
Any other further discussions that you want to have before we move on?
Do you have
Yes.
anything to say, Bartleby?
Yeah. We know she has an accomplice, and I strongly believe that accomplice is an Order of the Lich caster. So I think we need to be preparing at least for the potential, even if you don't believe me, the potential that there could be two casters here and not just her. We also need to get the book, so we can't just ambush her and slit her throat like a psychopath. We need to get the book. She could have the book stashed away any place so that she can walk around in alleys and not really care. If we kill her and we don't get the book, then the Order of the Lich caster that may or may not exist may as well have it himself and we'll have lost.
Okay,
That much is very true.
what should the approach be? Should we get the book first and then aim for her?
I believe we have a perfect plan that I've mentioned before. Cyrus, if you beg her, absolutely beg for her to accept that you are wrong and that you want to join her side and that the Order of the Phoenix is a joke, I'm sure you can pull out some sincere dislike of certain things in your order. I'm certain you could make her believe.
Nice.
But that would get you close to her. That would let you find out where the book is located, perhaps.
Maybe, but I still think she's not going to believe it because there's no way that I would ever buckle down and beg anyone for anything. So
That's true. But,
Cyrus, my friend, in life, everybody has a breaking point. Everybody, even I, if he says they've been reached, but close with the magic thing, you know, a couple of years ago, but everybody can be pushed that final breaking point, and you need to find that in your heart and say, Cyrus, I was wrong.
Yeah. So just to let you know how that would transfer to game mechanics. So that would be a deceit roll against her willpower. So it would be Cyrus being deceitful because he's not telling the truth, and whether or not not willpower, sorry, insight. So it would be
that might be a little bit better, but still. For example, my deceit's only 41. So it depends if I'm a good actor or not.
If it's the case where I'm not saying this is necessarily that case, but if it was the case where you were playing into somebody's known attribute, like if you knew they had a big ego and you were buttering them up and intentionally using that in your deceit, would it become a step easier, or is that not how that mechanic would work?
I think you could work that way, but I think what would happen is that the person who's doing the insight roll would, for example, in this type, Melanie would know that Cyrus is not the sort of person to just lay down dead. So, which would then argue that there should be an increase or a decrease in roll,
Yeah.
And so I think, because if it was somebody who knew one person, but the other person didn't know them, then I would alter difficulty grades. But in this situation, Melanie knows what Cyrus is like, just as the same as Cyrus knows what Melanie's like.
Yeah.
So it'll just be a plain standard opposed roll. But remember, the normal opposed rolls work, the normal rules for it. So if Cyrus got, so Cyrus's deceit, did you say it's 41?
Yeah.
So say, for example, Melanie's insight is 78. Cyrus could get 40 and Melanie could get 10. And in which case, Cyrus has won.
Yeah.
And convinced her.
But that's.
I have another
too
idea.
tough.
Oh,
So down to the dice gods in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
and
Let's
look.
change up the plan from pitiful Cyrus to angry Cyrus. In order the Phoenix has wronged you, that's why you want to join her.
Still deceit.
Still deceit, but I think might be a little easier for you to lie that. that lie
I
might
can
be a little
probably pull
less
that off a little
insulting.
better. But what's the game plan? Is I'm just going to convince her that I am now on her side, and she's just going to like, hey, can you hold this book for me? Walk
And
around, hold
just
hands.
to let you know, Cyrus, everybody else is waiting on the boat.
Yeah, you got this, Cyrus. We would blow your cover,
Yeah.
so well,
Yeah.
Hazard and I'll just be
They're just drinking
bar.
tea on the boat. Like, I hope he's doing well.
Don't forget to let us know when you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got this, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I get a feeling Cyrus is not happy with this plan.
this plan. Well, because
I-
he doesn't want to give in. It's his
I'm not a
fuel
fan
is
of-
ego.
Yeah, Hazard's not a fan of letting Cyrus go into the lion's den alone. He's very protective of Cyrus because he's a friend, and I don't want to see him walk. And he's seen what Melanie can do, and under people she's hired or working with, such as Sniffer, and
Ooh,
Mr. Bartleby has said potentially the Order of the Lich. And he knows what the Lich are like because he's met them before. So having Cyrus walk into this Viper's den is not alone is not going to happen in my eyes.
Cyrus is only willing to do the sacrificial play if he
Okay,
thinks
that's
the
fine.
odds are. And yeah,
Cyrus can change form as well, remember?
Yeah. That might be
Into
the option.
A budgie.
Bad.
not another bloody budgie.
Okay, so keep thinking. I think you're making progress. You've got lots of ideas of what you need to do and what's going to happen. But after the evening by the campfire with Stan, you make your way back to the sea crest, and it's almost like plain sailing from this point on until arriving at Windvine. And so we're going to jump forward now after the rest of the journey, a few more days at sea. And it's pretty uneventful there. And Hazra continues to show Stan how to fish. Bartleby continues to have meals with the captain inside his cabin. Ulrich keeps very quiet and to himself, and Cyrus continues to roam the ship looking for alcohol but sadly finding none. And it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. The ship's been sailing since early dawn, full mast, full sail. And it's at that point that as you turn round ahead of land, you actually see so you actually see in the distance Windvine. And the first thing that you really notice about Windvine is that it's nowhere as big as Lindo. Very few, well, none of the houses have more than one floor. Everything is single floor buildings. You notice that there isn't any sort of like roads, formal roads. You can tell where people walk because of the path, the mud paths that they have created, and it seems very quite low tech in the sense that there's wagons and oxen there. There's not rich people riding around on horseback or carriages or anything like that. It appears to be a very, very down to earth working village that is full of people that seem to be either raising animals or tanning leather or making things out of animal skin. And as you sort of like arrive, Primrose sort of like gives you the overview about Windvine, and says, her great great grandfather didn't look after animals at all. He worked the local mines, and unfortunately, these mines ran dry. There was no more ore to mine from them, but the the community didn't want to just leave the area, and so they went from being miners to farmers, animal farms, and they would rear goats, hens, cattle, sheep, anything like that, when they could actually utilize the byproducts from the animals to make money. And this is the main source of traffic that comes from Windvine to Lindo. They, they produce the products from animals, that including meat, that goes down to Lindo, and on the way back they bring fine cloths or spices that they've gained from Lindo's high society or in the shops. And as the piers, there's actually 3 piers going out from the city, but one of them seems to be very badly damaged. There's no ship at it. It looks like one of the support or a few of the support beams have gone or rotted, and it's in a quite a bit of disrepair. It's in a way of disrepair. And then there's another ship in already that its sails are down. It's tied up to the jetty, and then your ship comes alongside the 3rd pier and docks quite successfully. And then there's busy offloading what they have brought back from Lindo. There's porters coming around with carts and boxes and crates as everything gets taken off the ship. And the captain of the Sea Quest, as part of his favors to you, states that he will be heading back to Lindo in a month or so. So if you would like a return trip, then he's more than happy to do that. And he does mention it that there'll be quite a high discount for it.
This guy better be free.
Well, he must make some money. And then just as you're getting off onto the pier, Primrose sort of like thanks you all for your help and comments that she does have a shed outside her house. If you would like to use that as a base of operations, she says there's a tavern in, or an inn is probably the case, in Windvine, called the Grumbling Barnacle, and it does have some rooms upstairs, so she said it's up to you, but she says her shed is it's not clean, but it's dry. It's warm because of the straw in there, and that you're quite welcome to use it if you see fit. And she gives you directions from the pier, how to get to her humble abode if you wish to do that. And she sort of like says to Stan, "Come on, don't forget to thank Hazra." And he sort of like comes up and says, "Thank you, Hazra." Then he hugs your knees in a fond.
I'll tussle his hair. You're very welcome, Stan, and I look forward to seeing you again. And maybe, as your mother had suggested, maybe we will come and spend some time with you.
Yeah,
It'd
and
be nice to visit while we're here.
he says, "Oh, thank you, Dad," and goes running off before anything else can be.
Thanks for your future, Dad.
As it's sort of like they go off. And so you're currently on the pier. That's where you are at the moment. What would you like to do as a party? You know, you're new to this town. Is there anything that you would like to do? Anything that you would like to look for, etc.?
I'm going to lean towards Mr. Bartleby, and I'm going to say, Mr. Bartleby, my friend, you in Lindo have a way with the children, the waste and the strays of the docks. Is there any way maybe you can talk to the locals around here that you can encourage them to give you the information of the boat that's over there? Maybe that's the one that Melanie came on. If they know any information of where she is, or and be the man of the cloth, like I say, you are very open to these children and these people at the slums. You are the savior
Of the slums, not a savior of children.
Savior of children from his.
But I think that we ought to look around the docks area and see if we can find anybody in charge for the docking, and see if we can get information out of them. Then I would suggest we move on to the Grumbling Barnacle. A meeting place for people would probably be the best bet for getting information as to where Mel might be hiding. And then go from there.
But we definitely, I personally think that I should change clothes from my Red Order outfit, because I don't want everyone like, "Hey, there's another guy from the Red Order here."
Yeah.
And then that's
your hair won't give it away at all.
No. My worry. My concern was with you, Bartley, was the to find out if there's anybody in the crowds watching for the ships coming in. If you know what I mean, and seeing who's coming off the ship. So I thought maybe if you went down there and had a chat with people around and see if there's anybody out of place, because don't you have a out of character, a streetwise skill?
Well, glancing around, the way you described it, I assume this is sort of a small, a hamlet almost. And so I wasn't really expecting there to be any slums. But if I look around, are there any, like, for lack of a better word, like lazy layabouts who are just drinking their booze and watching the ships come in? The ship come in?
The first thing, you're quite right. There doesn't seem to be any class distinction in this place. There's definitely no social order at all. everybody appears to be working class and doing their jobs. Anybody on the pier appears to be dealing with cargo and crates and things like that. And apart from there's what appears to be like the docking manager, where people go to, dock their ships, and like the harbor master. There's definitely somebody like that, and walking around with series of papers, marking things off and ticking endless lists off. There is the ship next door as well. So, I mean, you can go and talk to them if you wish, or you can head off into town and see what you can find, or split the party and do both.
I say we start with the harbor master, stick together, and then travel through town to the Grumbling Barnacle. And maybe Hauser, if you keep an eye out for anybody who looks like they are somebody who's posted up and observant, I'd be happy to go talk to them for you. Otherwise, make it to the tavern or the inn. Get some thinking juice for Cyrus.
That sounds very sensible. I will bow to your judgment, Mr. Bartleby.
Okay, so you who's approaching the harbor master? Is it you, Bartleby?
Bartleby.
I suppose I'm spearheading this, but I'd like Cyrus at least backing me up. He's better with the rough folk down at the docks.
Yeah.
In fact, I was hoping you'd spearhead it, and I'd back you up.
Okay, I probably spearhead it.
Yeah. So the harbor master sees you approaching and sort of like looks up and says, "Oh, well, welcome to Windvine."
Thanks, sir. No question. Do you have any major areas that newcomers like to go to? Do they typically go to the taverns here? I'm just trying to get the feel of this new destination.
Windvine is a very hard-working village. There's nobody around here that has, shall we say, time on their hands to be lazy and whatnot. Are you all here for looking for work?
Somewhat. Probably a different kind of work than what you guys obviously do. You guys, you can tell by your hands, big hardworking folk.
Are you a group of people who don't work with their hands then?
We just work our hands differently.
It's like,
why are we doing hand talk with the harbor master? What is this?
What do I do with my hands?
He looks slightly
Just put your hands on your hips.
Take a step to the left.
And then I jump to the left.
No, so we're actually just travelers. We're just, venturing new places and whatnot. We're more known as adventurers from where we come from.
Windvine is a very unusual place for people to adventure to. We have nothing here but animals and ourselves.
That's what I've heard. So most likely this is more of a destination people trying to avoid other places, right?
People are trying to avoid Windvine.
No, people are trying to avoid other places and go to Windvine.
Right. He looks a bit lost.
Okay, well, I'll make it clear for him. Have you seen other travelers like us? Because as you've pretty much put it, this place is rare to see foreign travelers.
He pauses for a while and looks left and right. Roll your influence roll.
All right.
Yeah, Bartleby can augment it if.
Can I also augment my influence roll with some?
I would love to augment.
With some what, sir?
Coinage.
If you would like to have an exchange of coinage, you could try.
What do you guys think? Should coinage or not?
You may as well pay the man if he has some information. I say as I augment with a 12.
Yeah.
I agree.
You
Give the
know,
man 5 silver.
I'll give him 5 silver for his time. What do I in my presence? I just pressed in influence, right?
Yeah, but add 12 onto it first.
Alright.
So just open the skill, put it in
Yeah.
other.
Mhm.
And let's see what you get.
And here we go. Using my last luck point of the night, probably second to last luck point of the night. I'm going to reverse that.
Yeah. And so you sort of like hold out the money and when you're saying this, and he's quite taken aback, and he sort of like says, we are honest folk here. We are not the sort of people to take bribes. It is something that we're very passionate about.
I remind him that it's not a bribe. I'm just paying you for your time.
There is no need to pay me for my time. Somewhat disappointed that new people think they can waltz in here with money. I suggest you, if you want to know about anybody else who has arrived here, I suggest you talk to the captain and the crew of that ship over there. Because
I can't
believe
look.
me, from what I've heard, their journey has been very interesting.
Thank you for
And
your time.
we will leave it there as the clock turns to 1 minute past 10. So we'll pick it up next week when you, or the next time we play, sorry, when you have another choice again. You can either go into the town and find the tavern, or you can go to the ship and see what has been so strange about their journey here. Yes, well done. We're getting there. We're getting closer and closer to the final confrontation. So please do have a chat in Discord so I can see it and see what happens. Thank you very much to the players tonight. Thank you for coming along and watching. Remember that if you're interested in seeing this adventure or any of others, then you can find them all the actual plays over on my YouTube channel. This search for Inwills. And also, if you're interested in the game itself, then remember Mythras has a completely free rule set. You can actually go online and download it for free. That'll give you a good background about the combat system, character generation, and things like that. So if you want to go and check that out, then please do so. And also remember that on the first of every month, there's a podcast all about Mythras called Mythras Matters. It's up to, I think it's episode, I won't say 32, but maybe not that much. But it's quite way through. So yeah, you can find it on Spotify and all good providers of podcasts, including now Amazon Music. So yeah, plenty of things for you to go out and have a look. If you
26.
say again, sorry,
26.
26.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm up to? Yes.
Oh no, maybe not. Sorry, no, oh God. I'll be quiet.
Is it? And now I need to know.
Sorry, I'll find it for you now. Latest episodes. Episode 219. No. 219. Question. Library.
Oh, that
32. You're right.
32, episode 32. That has currently had 142 downloads. So yes, do go and check that out. And thank you for hanging out with us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I or we have. I've certainly had a very enjoyable battle, which I always like. So we'll catch you next time. I'll be streaming tomorrow, starting from about 10:30 with Final Fantasy 14. And then it is the wonderful ESO housing stream in the afternoon, where I will be wearing my giraffe onesie for the complete stream. So do come along and check that out. Should be a laugh. Okay, until tomorrow.
Should be a giraffe.
Yes.
Go on.
What did I say?
No,
You said
go
a
on,
laugh,
Richard.
but you said it would be a giraffe.
All right.
Giraffe? Yeah,
Kind of rhymes. Yeah.
Got ya.
sorry. I'll be quiet.
I know I'm just going to make Stan come back
No.
and haunt you one day. So I will catch you all tomorrow. We will catch you all next time. Until then, look after yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay positive. It's goodbye from me. See you later. And it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye.
Right, I'm just and see you all later.